Hi again, we're going to continue on this chapter forecasting techniques, and we've reached to forecasting errors. As we know that forecasting is not accurate, and this is just the basic rule that we assume that forecasting is not corrected. So what we need to do, yes, we understand that basic rule, it's not accurate. However, we need to correct that. So we ask ourselves this question, how incorrect is it and what we should do about it? The error can be caused to evaluate and possibly change forecasting methodology. So once we understand what the error is and the forecasting accuracy, and then we could find out how we could change about our forecasting. Also, what we could do, we could apply buffer stock or capacity cushion to count for a possible error. All right, starting with this bias, forecasting bias is a systematic error in which the actual demand is consistently above or below the forecasted demand. When it exists, what we need to do, we need to evaluate forecasts to improve accuracy. So whenever we have a bias, and this is what we see consistently all the time, we see above or below forecasting demand, then we have to improve the accuracy of the forecast. All right, let's take a look into this example. This will help you to understand what is the forecasting error. So we have the forecasting for 5 months here. We forecast it to be 100. And the total is 500 for the 5 months. However, the actual demand is 106, 93, 102, 101, 95. And eventually we have a total of 497. So the forecasting error we see here is the 6 down here, which is the 106 minus the 100. And then we have also the 93 versus the 100, which is the minus 7. That's the forecasting error as well. Also, what we have here between the forecast and the actual for period 3 would be 2, based on the actual minus the forecast, which is 102 minus the 100. And then for the next period, 101 minus the 100, that will give you 1. And then for the fifth period would be the actual 95 minus the 100. That's where you get the -5 as the error for that period. And then overall, we subtract the 497 minus the 500. That will give you a -3. And this is if you add all these numbers on the right side here, you will see that this is the forecast error. So if you add 6 plus -7 plus 2 plus 1 plus -5, that will give you a total of -3. So now what we have done is basically we calculated the error in the forecasting, and now let's interpretate this table. So what the first thing you take a look is the 3 here. We look into the bigger picture, which is the 3, and we found out that 3 units more than actual demand. So this is the first one. The second one, we could say that we can conclude that for this forecasting method, this forecasting method was biased toward over-projecting actual demand, over-predicting the actual demand because of the 3 more units that we have actual. So this is what was the bias, why this is biased. Also, another technique that we use to calculate the forecasting accuracy, it's called the MAD, or the mean absolute division, which is adding the sum of absolute division divided by the number of divisions. All right, let's take a look into more details and more example on this. So a positive number that indicate the average value of forecasting error during the time of evaluation. It is a positive number. Make sure this is what the conclusion going to be. It is it's a positive number. So this is number 1. Second is you will give you the average value of the error. What is the average value of the error? So let's take a look into here. We have a forecasting of 6 periods here. We have each month we forecasted 100 units or 100 customer to be served, total of 600. The actual demand is 105, 94, 98, 104, 103, and 96. And therefore we have this as And the total actual demand is 600, which is great because we have matched the forecast. However, let's take a look into the variation here. What is the error? 105, again, actual minus the forecast, 105 minus 100, 94 minus 100, this is where the negative 6, 98 minus 100, that's a negative 2, 104 minus 100, that's a 4, and 3 for fifth month, and minus 4 for the sixth month. If you add these together, it will give you the 0. Okay, so now this is exactly what we did for last time to forecast the accuracy and variation. Now let's move on to continue with the MAD. So there's no bias over the 6 months period. As you see, this is 0. There's no bias for this forecasting techniques. Now what we need to do, let's take a look into the MAD calculation. So you add the summation, the absolute value for each of these errors or divisions, how you are far away from the actual. So we have 5, 6, 2, 4, 3, and 4. Again, these numbers coming from this table right here. 5, 6, 2, 4, 3. So we take the absolute value, which is just use it as a positive, to find out that the total summation of division is 24. Divide that by 6, that will give you 4. Okay, what is that number right there? That number right there means that while the forecast method shows no bias, it was an error by an average of 4 units per month. So we understand that this technique that we use, there's no bias. This is great. This is one thing, but also we need to know that there is an error in our forecasting technique by 4 units every month. Now, the third techniques to improve the accuracy of forecasting is called the tracking signals. The tracking signals, it's another technique to monitor the quality of forecasting. It is very simple. The sum of the forecasting errors divided by the MAD, the calculation that we got from last slide. All right, so let's take a look into this slide here. And what we have right here, we have forecasting for 4 periods, 100 each month. This is the actual demand. What I want you to do, I want you to stop the video and do the math by yourself. I want you to see how much you're far away from the target. So 90 actual minus the forecast. So 96 minus 100, that would be minus 4, minus 2, plus 4, plus 10 in here. And then you need to find the cumulative deviation, the cumulative deviation from all these values. So right here, we started with a 5. This is given to you. And then the tracking signal is 2.5, which is the MAD for this the MAD for this item is 2. It's based on previous calculation. We know that. So what does that mean? And the company uses tracking signals of plus minus 4. This is what the forecasting error. So we need to determine what. So the MAD is given. The forecasting error is the signal of plus minus 4 would be okay. Now let's go ahead and share the answer with you. So starting with the deviation, we are minus 4 in here, minus 2 for the second period, 4 and 10. Now the cumulative deviation, this starts with a 5. This is given to you. Now 5 plus minus 4, that will give you 1. So this is the cumulative deviation. And then 1 plus minus 1, that will give you minus 1 here. Minus 1 plus 4, that will give you 3. 3 plus 10, that will give you 13. Now for the tracking signal, what we need to do, we divide the cumulative deviation by 2, which is given to us. The MAD is 2. So 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. 1 divided by 5 is 0.5. Minus 1 divided by 2, that one would be negative 0.05. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. All right, so now let's take a look into the forecasting method. Should be reviewed, and the reason for that, because there is a lot of deviation, and the tracking signal of 6.5. Now this is the final conclusion for this 6.5 violating the rules that given to the company or the established by the company, which is plus minus 4. As long as this is between plus and minus 4, the company would be okay with that forecasting technique. However, 6.5, it seems that's high. where we have to review the forecasting technique. So now this is the last slide in this chapter, which is we need to uh, uh, have the better forecasting techniques are the more or the more able organization will be able to take advantages of future opportunities and reduce potential risks. So we need to make sure that we have an accurate, better forecasting so we can take better opportunities of the futures. Worthwhile strategy is to work to improve short-term forecasting. So this is what we need to do, is to consider what we have as short-term forecasting and then improve that. Accurate and up-to-date information can have a significant effect on forecasting accuracy, including the prices, the demand, and other variables should be included. Reduce the time horizon forecasts have to cover also the time we need to consider it. Share forecast or demand data through the supply chain can improve the forecast quality. So make sure that you share this with your network and the supply chain, and this also will help you to plan for the future. So with that said, I would like to thank you very much. I hope this is helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions about these chapters. Thank you.